Okay, everyone, please put your hands together for your next storyteller, Sam.
As soon as I learned to drive a manual transmission, I realized that I wanted no other type of car. As a nerdy Jewish teenager, I had no intrinsic automotive or mechanical skills. So learning how to drive a manual transmission made me feel like I was in control of this machine that I was entrusting my life to. My first car was a hand-me-down from my father, a maroon 1978 Cadillac Sedan DeVille automatic transmission. The thing was 18 feet long. I kid you not, 221 inches. It weighed 4,300 pounds. And as a teenager, I wasn't so much as driving it as I was piloting it like a barge. When I was a freshman in college, somebody lent me their 1986 Honda CRX 5-speed. Now that was a car. 12 feet long, 2,700 pounds. I learned how to drive manual transmission on the south side of Chicago. I ground and fumbled my way through that gearbox for days until I learned how to shift smoothly and efficiently. And once I had learned, I wanted no other type of car. In college, I went through an endless series of used cars and through most of medical school until the end of medical school when I bought my first brand new car, a 2000 Volkswagen Golf 5-speed. And not long thereafter, I got married, and my wife bought a new car, a Jetta, manual transmission, to accommodate my request. When we moved to Boston, when we moved to Cincinnati, I traded my Golf in for a Mini Cooper, the first ones that came out. 2003 Mini Cooper, 5-speed. But then we moved to Boston, we had to downsize. We got rid of my Mini Cooper, but upgraded the Volkswagen to the Passat, 5-speed. And we'd share the car. My wife and I would drive to work together in the morning, and then sometimes, depending on the day, she would walk home at night or she'd take the bus and leave me to drive the car home at night. And this was one of those nights, a gray mid-November night, but I was 17 months into a pediatric oncology fellowship, and I was tired, and I had patients who were dying. And I was moonlighting because we had just bought a condominium, and my clinical fellow salary couldn't help us, make ends meet. And so I was so tired. And so when I pulled into the driveway and the headlights of the car in the garage illuminated winter moths, my first thought was for the winter clothes that were stored in the basement, and that the moths were going to eat my clothes, and that I was going to have to buy new clothes, and I'd have to moonlight more, which means I'd be more tired, and I'd have more patience. And I was still thinking about the winter moths when I got out of the car and slammed the door to walk around and get my bag out of the trunk. Damn, I'm tired, and it seems like the room is spinning. No, it's not spinning. The room is moving forward, but wait a second, the room is not, oh dear God. And the room was not moving forward, the car was moving backwards. And you have these moments in your life where you can either stand still and do nothing, or you can act. I chose to act. But you really only have two courses of action in this situation, right? You can fling open the door and dive into the car and pull up on the emergency brake, or you can run behind the car and try and push it back into the garage. I opted for the latter. And in the few moments that I was pushing the car, trying to push the car back into the garage on that cold November evening, I realized that I was going to be killed. A Jewish doctor run over by an unoccupied German car. That's how people were going to remember me in death. And so I got out of the way and ceded control to gravity. And the car rolled out of the driveway, out of the garage and down the driveway, and it crossed the street and jumped the curb. And then went down backwards a 40-foot dirt and grass embankment across the two northbound lanes of the divided highway that we lived over. And because the retaining wall was about 4 feet above, the northbound lanes were about 4 feet above the southbound lanes, it got some pretty good air before crashing on all four wheels perpendicular on the southbound lanes of the highway. And by some absolute miracle, there was a break in the traffic, and while my car was flying through the air, there was absolutely nobody on the road. Now, I had been running, of course, after the car. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. And so when I went up back into our apartment, my wife turned to me and said, "Are you okay? You're as white as a ghost." And I said, I think something bad happened to the car." Something bad happened to my car. So a couple of weeks later, when she started talking to me again, she came home from work one day with a grin on her face. And I said, "What's up?" And she said, "I told some people about your incident with the car." And I said, "Who did you tell?" And she said, "Everybody." So on Sunday morning, we woke up and had coffee, and she turned on NPR, and I was going to get up to go out, and she said, no, stay, let's listen to Car Talk. And damn, if not 15 minutes later, there she was, telling the guys on Car Talk about what I had done. And when they asked, and they did ask, "Is he some type of absent-minded scientist?" My wife said, "Yes, he's an MD, PhD pediatric oncologist in Boston." So when I went to work on Monday, the first person who saw me said, "You're an idiot." And so did the second and the third. And click and clack, the Car Talk guys told my wife that the only way to avoid this in the future was that we should only have an automatic transmission car forever. And so we went out and got a Subaru Outback, and then another, and another. About 5 years ago, we moved to Seattle, and I got a job up in Bothell, so I needed a new car. And the new Fiats had just come out. Tiny Italian cars. And the first time I drove the manual transmission version, I knew that I could have no other car. Thank you.